Oh yeah, it's football. We're here. It's football. Those of you in the United States of America know that Tuesday we had this wonderful thing they call an election. And it still has not been determined as to who the president of this nation is yet. Hopefully it will be by tomorrow, but it hasn't been. It's sort of like watching the Cleveland Browns play. You got your favorite team, and you hope they come out on top. But sometimes you get a team like the Steelers that come in and they got to whine and bitch and moan about everything. Claim they won the game and have victory before anything's been solved or resolved. And at the end of the day, when that final buzzer blows, the Browns are ahead by a point, and the Steelers go walking off the field with their heads tucked between their legs. However, in this case, the idiot that is walking off the field is not going to tuck his damn head between his legs and walk off and admit defeat. And there's nothing we can do about that. What we can do, though, is we can look at the world of football, professional football, arena, indoor, NFL, NCAA, go Bucks, and, football in general. Damn, it's been a while. Besides, we need that. We really need that right now with all the stupidity that's been going on the last few days. Most of it coming out of high offices and places with big white domes on them. Geez, the only dome I want to see right now is like an arena full of football fans, and we're not even getting that.
That would be nice.
It would be really nice
Like,
because,
is that too much to ask people?
well, we got the Thunderdome there in the WWE, but
Is that football?
no. In some cases right now with what's going on in football, we've got a couple of teams that are having some issues with the old what do they call that? They've got the COVID going around in the NFL.
COVID-19er.
Got a couple more teams that have had players test positive. This is and this is scary, folks, because one person can infect everyone else. And there was a report of a college student who had been infected, and he was in quarantine, and they found him deceased in his dorm room. Yeah, so quarantine. If you know somebody that's under quarantine, do not alienate them from yourselves. You need to check in on them because this is a serious issue, and it can lead to someone's demise. Just like what's going on in the National Arena League right now, RJ. We got Tampa Bay and Louisville both out of the NAL. What the hell is going on there?
So the NAL is currently the most expensive indoor/arena league to be in. And Tampa Bay Tornadoes and Louisville Extreme both did not give enough line of credit by the deadline per the National Arena League. So, it comes down to the money there. West Virginia Rough Riders in a position that you really hate to see, which is they're going to go dormant for 2021. Greg Fernario, the owner of the team, has them up for sale. He put them up for sale late in the off season. No one's bit. I think it's an unfortunate time to try to sell a team just because pandemic. Not everyone has cushion money to spend. And it's marketed and runs like a minor league sports despite being professional. So the budgets are tight, and the instability. No matter how much we want to glorify arena football, which I love to death, it can be unstable at times. The thing with them going dormant is the Maine Mammoths went dormant after 1 year, and they were supposed to come back and never did. The Lehigh Valley Steelhawks, they went dormant and were supposed to come back and never did. Dormant, a lot of the time, I'm not saying it's the case this time, is a polite way of saying we really doubt that we're going to do anything, but just to save a bit of face and have the falsest sense of hope possible, we're not going to officially fold.
Okay. That's a shame too, because West Virginia is the team closest to me
Yeah,
here in Ohio.
yeah,
Uh,
you'll be getting the Wild Dogs soon enough, though,
well,
in the IFL.
and the interesting thing is the IFL they have their style of play, and then the NAL. And what got me hooked was NAL football, and I'm dying. This is what's killing me right now is that there there hasn't been any arena football going on, and it's driving me up a wall because it is a viable alternative to what's going on in the NFL. And what's going on in the NFL, I don't know. I mean, I get to listen to the Browns play. I drive around and I listen to the play because if I watched it on the TV, I would have to buy a new TV every week. Whether they win or not, from what I
On the
hear, they sound like they're.
Dogs TV Fund.
Yes, you can join us on Patreon. We'll be using the proceeds. Your 34 cents a day will help to replace my television for the next what? We're 6 weeks in. Thank God the Browns have a bye week coming up. You can't blow a bye week. Although I'm sure that if any team could lose during a bye week, it would be the Cleveland Browns.
Honestly, that was how I felt going into this year. But then we met a contender from New York. JETS, just enjoy the suffering.
Well, there's also a contender there in New England that's on a 4-game losing streak right now.
Well, okay, now we were talking.
Something they are not accustomed to doing.
First of all, Patriots fans, y'all been privileged for the past 20 years, so I don't want to hear a damn thing. That's the starting point. Two, New England's having a bad year, absolutely, but there is more reason to it besides Cam Newton having a very bad season, and that's a lot of their major players opted out due to ye old COVID.
Well, a lot of them might have opted out due to ye old leaving of a star quarterback who's not having a great time himself
Well,
down there in Tampa.
yeah, I was gonna say we were gonna call him this like he's a star quarterback, but like, well, we're gonna get to Tom Brady later.
No GOAT there. Oh, there is so much going on. I guess we should probably talk about what's going on with the NFL right now. This COVID situation. We were harassing teams and making fun of them and haranguing them because of outbreaks that occurred inside of the with players and stuff. However, it's really getting deeper now. And I mean, look at the Broncos. I believe you're saying Elway has COVID or tested
Yep,
positive.
yep, and so does team CEO Joe Atlas.
And I'm going to say this: I was never a huge Elway fan during his career.
You wonder why.
Well, yeah, you wonder why. Thank you, Ernest Burner. Uh, but the thing is John Elway is truly one of the greatest of all time. There are few quarterbacks that achieved what John Elway did in their career. He may look like a horse, however, and he does. There's no doubt about it. Elway does resemble a horse. You put him next to Mr. Ed. Come on. They're twins. Twins, I tell ya. Secretariat was ashamed of John Elway because Secretariat wanted a facelift because she looked like John Elway. And you know the statue in front of Broncos Stadium? John Elway modeled for that. The head. Okay. Anyway.
But in all seriousness, we hope everybody we're going to mention here gets better soon, doesn't have any like lasting effects from this.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. We're just having some fun because
it's all in jest.
You have to sit back and find some humor and levity in life right now because of all the stuff that's going on, not just with football, with everything that's going on in the world today. We've got to have a good time. We've got to enjoy ourselves and learn. We got to laugh. Okay? Not just Denver, though. I mean, I'm not going to, it's Denver, so I'm kind of biased, But there's I'm biased against two of these teams. The one that's got me, though, is the Packers, man. Green Bay.
Yep. And this and Titletown USA. So if you haven't heard, rookie halfback AJ Dillon has tested positive. So you're thinking, okay, their backfield is a bit depleted. They'll have 3 people going into next week. Well, not exactly. Uh, Another halfback, Jamal Williams, has been deemed high risk and will miss the Niners game. So now you have 2 halfbacks on your entire roster in Green Bay. And to add on top of it, rookie linebacker Kamal Martin is also deemed high risk and will not play against the 49ers.
Now, we spoke about this before, RJ. Um, do you think that in hindsight now, maybe continuing with a full season is not the right thing for the NFL to do, or maybe they should have, like just like the NBA did, just like MLB did, have a truncated season. Just do it in conference games and determine
I
a
like
champion
the
from that.
divisional. Don't even do the conference.
Just
Division.
divisional, and then have a conference championship out of the best teams there.
Yeah.
And it would have made for I think it would have made for a more exciting season because then,
There's a real sense of urgency.
yeah, and teams really have to pick up the game, because in my own division, which is the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens are having issues, and they're not just having issues; they have 7 players that have been deemed high risk, and therefore they're probably going to be losing some players for a couple weeks.
And the one person who caught it was starting cornerback Marlon Humphrey. And they're now in intensive NFL protocols. Now, when you hear intensive NFL protocols, you just hope it's better than what Tennessee did.
Anything's better than what Tennessee did. Anything. We've got Matt Stafford over on the Lions. We have an issue with that going on there. Of course,
Poor Andy Dalton. Poor Andy Dalton gets out concussion protocol, goes right into COVID protocol. Like he was a Bengal for a while, and I didn't like him because of that. But come on, football gods, this is just cruel.
Sorry, having a little cable issue there. Needed to fix that. Uh, it's the Cowboys, though. So really, it's the
Yeah,
Cowboys.
the football gods have really just been destroying him this year. Oh, Dak Prescott, your ankle's going to move ways it's not supposed to. Andy Dalton, you're going to get hit in the head. Not only that, your teammates won't give a damn. That was the really sad part about that.
It's a shame because Dalton's a consistent quarterback. No matter where he plays, he's been consistent.
Yeah.
Consistently mediocre.
But consistent.
But consistent, and that's the point. He's consistent. You can count on him to win a few and lose a few every season. Just like the Browns, you can count on them to win at least one game. One.
It only started the past couple of years, though, after a bit of a drought.
What really has hurt Cleveland is the loss. I think Odell Beckham being out, but after this bye week, a couple of key players will be coming back to the team. So, and that's going to be very, very important for the Browns because they lost a game to a team that has been playing the football that they have been playing is sometimes they kind of remind me of high school football players trying to go up against an NFL team. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that Cleveland needs to really do is to start being consistent. Don't depend on Odell Beckham because he's gone for the rest of the year.
And
He's
also,
done.
One thing about Odell Beckham that I need to get through everyone's head, he is by far the most overrated wide receiver of this generation.
I'm not going to argue.
He made one catch. It was an impressive catch, but what's he done since then? Maybe one good thing he's done. I'm not talking about when he peed like a dog and said, "Well, I plays like a dog, so I acted like a dog." That's not positive. Neither was his brawling with Josh Norman in that Panthers-Giants game, or what he's into. We need positive things.
Bill, I'm trying to think of something. If you see smoke, let me know because I need to call 911 and have the fire put out. My brain's hurting right now. The COVID and this situation with COVID is, and it's going to get. RJ and I and Mark and Michael, we're all in who I wish them what they're up to right now. They're doing, Michael's and Mark are doing something on their own, and that's pretty interesting and trying to see what's going on there with those guys. But we all live in an area of the country where flu season's going to be hitting in, and it's already crawling in here real fast.
Wait for a second, Harry. We're hitting a second wave of COVID.
Of
100,000 COVID cases in one day.
Well, I think that might be a bit exaggerated, but that's my opinion.
I don't think that
Well,
exaggerate
let me
it.
explain something, RJ. I had to, everyone, my uncle passed away a month ago, and I
Yeah.
was the one who had to sign the documents to remove the life support. His death paperwork, he died of acute brain trauma, was the cause of death. They put down he died of COVID 19 on his death report. RJ, I saw it. Everyone's dying of COVID. So I don't think all those cases are legit. The positive tests are it's hard to say. These tests are what I've seen. They're like 60 40 on at best.
Point is, a lot of people are getting COVID and we're entering a second wave. That's the point.
And the shame of it is it can all be prevented. Just wear your damn masks in public. And if you don't want to wear the mask, then don't go out in public because there are a lot of people out there.
Who would not like to die?
Well, it's not just that. How many people walk around that have asthma? They're compromised. They have compromised immune system. People that have HIV or cancer or another life-threatening illness that they're battling. How would you feel if you were the one that that child with cancer contracted COVID because of you and passed away because their immune system's compromised?
Honestly, if you're not wearing a mask, I don't think you'd care.
Well, I care. I DoorDash. Now, when I drive around, I don't wear a mask because, that's kind of stupid. I'm in my
You're
car and I'm the only one in it. But when I go step out of that car, I have a mask on my face because I don't want to. If I were to contract it, first of all, I'm protecting other people around me. Plus, most importantly, I'm protecting myself because I'm not breathing in their nastiness. And you deal with some of these people, I'm telling you what, you don't know what people have. You have no idea. It's Russian roulette right now. Russian roulette. It's just crazy.
It
Well,
is.
oh. RJ writes, Tom Brady almost blows it against the Giants. Almost, huh?
Here's the thing. If Daniel Jones hits one of two key passes, the Giants win that game. Now, I'm not going to excuse Daniel Jones for being complete crap. That's inexcusable, and he needs to pick his game up. But I'm going to talk about Tom Brady here because every big news channel is saying, look how good Tom Brady is, and he's 40-something. Guys, let's have a little talk about Thomas Brady. First of all,
I know another quarterback who was better
he
at
has
40.
one of the best receiving corps in the NFL going into the season. He had Godwin, who's now hurt, but he should be back sooner. Don't go like finger in your way. You're just a receiver, like you have another hand. And Mike Evans, two of the top 10 receivers in your receiving corps. Gronk, who I still think is severely overrated, but they have a great connection. And he's still severely struggling. Like, it's so. For those of you saying Tom Brady is elite, no. You could argue top 10, but he is not elite. I am sorry. If he was elite, he would be blowing teams out of the goddamn water 2012 style.
Oh, you mean
Like
like Peyton Manning did when he switched teams? Just
Yeah,
continued to play at that caliber. That Peyton Manning was in his 40s when he went over to Denver, folks. There was another guy up there in Green Bay. Brett Favre was his name, who played into his 40s and did damn well in his 40s. Tom Brady is. You have to admit that a lot of Brady's success wasn't just because of Tom Brady. It was because of the money spent by the owners of the Patriots and the talent that was on that field supporting Tom Brady.
and I don't want to hear he didn't have. great people around him. Here's the thing. You don't need big names to have great people around you. If I tell you to name players on the 1972 Miami Dolphins undefeated team, how many can you name off the top of your head, Harry?
None.
Exactly. Like, I can name a few awesome guys like Zonka, Kick, Mercury Morris, Bob Greasy, and Paul Waterfield. Nothing on defense. They were literally nicknamed the no-name defense. But they got the job done. And that's the thing. Tom Brady had a lot of solid guys around him forever. And Hall of Famers as well on defense. People want to look at the offensive side of the ball, which I get, you associate offense with quarterback. But when you have guys like Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, all quality guys, some of which I might see in the Hall of Fame later potentially. Not to mention Asante Samuel was there for a while. It was a lot of great players. So don't give me this, Brady never had anybody good. Also, like when he had Randy Moss, that was dangerous. But if Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer that people claim he is, then either it's on Arians or it's on Brady. Considering Arians' track record, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to him and saying it's on Brady. And this is what I'm waiting to see happen. Tom Brady has courted the ultimate diva, Antonio Brown, to join the Buccaneers, which I don't get. I only played one game together, but like, Jesus Christ, man. If things hit the fan with AB and the locker room has a divide, I'm not going to blame that on Antonio because we all know he is toxic as Chernobyl. I'm going to blame it on Tom Brady for courting him, and he has to take the blame for that. I don't want to hear the media saying Antonio Brown went rogue. Tom Brady brought him in and enabled him. That's the headline that I would like to hear if that happens. And to be clear, I'm not asking for Antonio Brown to go full rogue. That man needs some serious help as it is. He should not be anywhere near a football field. He has cases pending for some very horrible offenses. He is in complete mental disarray, and like the guy needs help.
The NFL needs help right now, not just a few players. And I think that what happened with Hernandez is where I started really looking at the players and saying, wait a minute, these are rich men who feel that they can get away with anything. And I saw it in Cleveland. When we had Johnny Manziel. He was a prima donna, and he thought he was better than that because he was who he was, he could get away with whatever he wanted.
Everything with Johnny, he was crazy. And like again, we have to iterate. He had severe mental health issues that he went and combated, and is still combating. So we wish him the best on that endeavor. But he was still big money Johnny Manziel before he was technically paid all that money by the Browns.
True.
That's the part that makes it even sadder and scarier.
And
with guys like Hernandez, the thing with him is like, so I live close to where the Odin Lloyd murders took place. Yeah, I know. Again, Connecticut's known for nothing positive. It's true. But, like, man, Hernandez, like, not only was, like, first of all, heinous crime, disgusting human being, but he was a damn good football player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about that.
And I hold it to this day, people don't agree with me, but I honestly felt that if he had developed at the rate he was going, he would have been better than Gronk.
You think?
Oh, I think so.
I don't know. I know him and Gronk would have been a nasty tandem to have to deal with on any given Sunday.
It was the most dominant tight end duo you will probably ever see.
That I can see. And that's one of those things that has put a sour taste. It's not just the fandom of the Patriots that has put a sour taste in fans' mouth around the country. It's stuff like this that have put a sour taste into people's mouths, and things like Deflategate. You know, all these things come together.
Spygate is the one I always point to.
Oh, where they were getting the plays off of checking out the other playbooks and stuff. Yeah,
they went to the Bengals. They went to the Bengals press box last year. So reportedly, they said they were gonna film the web series "Do Your Job." First of all, like, that is something you can think of in an instant as a cover-up. Second of all, you've been here before, Patriots. You think you would know by now that you're on people's watch lists?
Yeah,
like you're on FBI watch lists for doing shady stuff in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You think either don't do it again or at least go incognito with a VPN.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We got some other things going on in the world of the NFL besides COVID and Tom Brady not living up to the hype. Uh, RJ, what is going on with Ben DiNucci? Why is he sitting on the bench right now? And
Ben DiNucci had a horrible game last week. Horrible, horrible game. And because of that, they are now looking at Cooper Rush. And I think we know this name, former AAF MVP frontrunner Garrett Gilbert.
who still hasn't gotten an opportunity in the NFL the way I think he should have it.
Yeah. Now, now, I'm looking at this from a guy who's watched Gilbert come from the AAF into the NFL back again. He had played in the NFL prior to going to the AAF, but really had a resurgence there. From one point of view, you're saying, yes, give Gilbert the shot. This is the time. At the same time, oh crap, it's a Pittsburgh defense.
Okay.
I mean, if he pulls something off against a Pittsburgh defense, that's when you really step back and say, whoa, what is going on here?
Oh, Lord. Why would you do that to Gilbert? Why?
Listen, I didn't schedule a game for this week.
Pardon me?
Listen, I didn't do the schedule. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, the Browns have a bye week, so I don't care what happens this week.
Yeah, the Browns had Gilbert for a bit, and
They probably should have kept him.
yeah, because here's the thing with Baker. He looks over the middle and then decides what he's going to do. It's like he has tunnel vision.
Baker Mayfield needs to. I'm going to be honest, he's not ready for prime time. I just don't think he's ready for prime time. I think a guy like Gilbert would have been better. Huh?
He's not ready for a 4:15 time slot.
Well, any time slot right now. I think Gilbert would have been a viable option because he's got the seasoning from that AAF play. And we know, I mean, look at what he did with the AAF, man. There was no one that could touch
no
him.
one close to him.
Huh?
The AAF, while it had some good quarterbacks, he was by far the most polished and NFL-ready quarterback in that league.
Yeah. Yeah, he should be playing on a team. He shouldn't be sitting on a bench anywhere. I mean, that's just crazy.
On a bench somewhere, but like, I don't know if he's better than any of the 32 starters right now, although he's making a case in Dallas, a very viable one you can see. But like you should have seen him staying around as a viable second stringer and treated with more respect than he got.
And then we have, here's a shame. We got Teddy Bridgewater. He's on the injury list right now with a neck.
Yeah, now it's come out that it's not a super serious injury. He's been taking reps, but the chance of getting PJ Walker is still higher due to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I want to say, NFL, why didn't you suspend the player who hit Bridgewater? Protect your damn quarterbacks, especially when you make special rules for them. You kind of have to enforce them then. And that's the thing. And I agree. Quarterbacks are integral to the game of football, and players deserve safety. The NFL claims they do, but then they don't enforce it, so that befuddles me. I don't know how he cleared protocol so quickly last week. He was like out for like 2 minutes, came back in, and I'm like, but isn't there like protocol? I guess not. And honestly, here's the thing with PJ Walker. Even if they just have PJ Walker in for a short amount of time, if he plays well in that short amount of time, he get looks on teams that are really struggling with quarterbacks.
Okay. Just as far as injuries go around the league, they've been detrimental to a lot of teams. I mean, Odell Beckham's out right now with an injury. Probably not going to be back for the rest of the season.
Injured teams right now are Philadelphia and San Francisco.
And nobody cares about those teams anyway, so,
What do you mean San Francisco? Don't care about San Francisco. They're coming off a Super Bowl appearance.
And nobody cares.
Jimmy G is done for the season with a high ankle sprain, which they rushed him back from, which was a stupid move. Nick Mullins is a fine backup. And C.J. Beathard is a serviceable enough third stringer.
Now, although they are 4-3 now, I've been very. I didn't think that the Raiders would do what they've done with the move. I thought they would take, there'd be a couple of years of adjustment to the Las Vegas scene, but they are. I mean, they're over 50% right now. So with the win over the Browns, they went to 4-3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the Browns dropped to 5-2. So, and hey, the thing is that well, I thought they would be doing a lot worse right now because of the move. It's a big transition going from Northern California down to the desert there in Nevada. I've lived in Las Vegas. I know the amount the heat, the training in the heat and stuff out there is just it's gonna when next year things get back to normal 2021
Yeah,
training
I don't know
camp.
if it's normal next year. I think we'll see semi-normal, but I don't think we're getting normal.
I don't think normal will ever be a word that we use again anywhere on this planet. I think we're beyond that now. It's just the world. What's it? What's it say in Dune? The world has changed. That's a line from Dune, Frank Herbert. The world is changed, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do to get it back to normal.
Okay,
Uh,
speaking of Herbert, what are your thoughts on Justin Herbert? Because some people, I feel, are overhyping him and saying, "Oh, he's Rookie of the Year candidate," but there's another quarterback in the AFC that I think is more deserving.
I really have a hard time because quarterbacks are so idolized in football when I see running backs out there that I'm impressed with who are doing things. I see tailbacks and fullbacks and halfbacks out there that are doing things. I see defensive ends that are impressive. And everybody wants to hype the quarterback. This is the best. No, 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 no. Let's start looking at the men who really are. The quarterback may be the general, but without his troops, he ain't nothing. He ain't nothing without the troops. Because if your troops ain't in line, if your troops ain't out there playing right, then no matter.
Like, if George Patton didn't have good troops in World War II, do you really think he'd be revered the way he is? He'd probably be seen as your crazy old uncle who just fought in a war.
Probably so. It's like MacArthur. If it weren't for the men out there fighting, MacArthur would have been nothing. He would nobody would have cared. He would have been a footnote to history, like a lot of generals were that lost battles. The same goes with football. No matter how good of a quarterback you think a man like Brady is, there's somebody that's better than him out there. And here's the fun part. This is the real fun part for for fans right now. All the Brady detractors that have existed for 20 years. Okay, all those detractors out there, some of what they've been saying is true. And you can see it now. You can see it now. You know what I mean? Before, in New England, they could hide it, they could cover it up and mask it. You know what I mean? But down in Tampa, it's hard to hide the failings that he has now. These and oh, well, he's over 40 years old. It's his age that's the problem. No, it's because he was never that damn good to start with. He just had great soldiers out there on the field that would lead him to a victory because there were multiple times through the course of all the championships and everything else where it
Down
was the D that won the
to
game. It wasn't the O that that took the game. It was the D that helped the Patriots walk forward.
Yeah, it was Vinatieri twice. It was Pete Carroll passing once, and Russell Wilson making one of the worst plays in football history, which no one ever gives him enough crap
Hey,
for.
quick question. You think Vinatieri will end up in the Hall of Fame as one of the best kickers of all time?
I'll put it this way: if you don't put Adam Vinatieri in the Hall of Fame as a kicker, there's never going to be a kicker in the Hall of Fame.
He's one of the greats, dude. He helped me win a fantasy football season.
I mean, just to give you an idea of how long Adam Vinatieri's been around, his first gig was for the Amsterdam Admirals in 1996 in NFL Europe.
Damn.
He's still a free agent.
And
He's
that's
older than some of his teammates.
Hey, Cleveland. You need a kicker. Come on, boys. Pick him up.
San Diego needs a kicker. Then again, that's always been their downfall. I mean, San Diego / LA, the Chargers. You know
The Bears. The Bears.
They're a whole different level of sad.
Well, if you played in that town, you'd be on a different level of sad, too.
I want to talk about something that's really sad and also overhyped. Lamar Jackson. Now, Here's the thing about Lamar Jackson. First of all, let's look at his game against Pittsburgh. All right, 13 of 28, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 3 fumbles, 2 of which were lost. That was the first great defense he's played this year. And here's the thing: when you're a running quarterback, you have to do one of two things. Either adapt your game to be a better work throwing and more, which Lamar Jackson cannot do. He's not known for his throwing. He's people want to compare him to Mike Vick, and I bet some more delusional people want to compare him to Randall Cunningham.
Why?
But the thing is, those people have cannons for an arm. Lamar, he doesn't. And so, that's one thing. Also, his first year, no one has film on him. That's a huge help. But, he was getting figured out towards the end of the year and played horribly in the playoffs. People hyped him up like there was no tomorrow. And then when he does badly, they're all confused. And I'm like, this style isn't sustainable at the NFL level. The transition from the college game to the NFL game is very hard for running quarterbacks.
Hell, it's hard for anybody.
Especially running quarterbacks.
It's difficult to come from.
It's definitely a difficult transition, and also I think people never admit this, and I hate it because it's in my division. But John Harbaugh is arguably the best coach in the NFL when it comes to building a team around a star player. He took Joe Flacco to a Lombardi Trophy. Think about that for a second. Joe's favorite route was 6-yard post ins and 6-yard post outs.
Oh, Lord. We got some other good stuff coming up in the world of football, and I don't know why they're calling it the Spring League.
Okay, well, yeah, we're going to get to that real quick because when I found it was a spring showcase league, and they partnered with the XFL, and then the Fox deal came this year, and we can't say no to the deal by not playing this fall. See, I think we should do that. If at this they're going to go back to spring this upcoming year, but if they don't for some reason, I just think they should call it TSL, or just name it the Showcase League or something like that. If you do.
Yeah, I don't like the being the name of any football league. The letters are TSL, the Spring League. How about just SLF, Spring League Football? SLF, something simple like that. I mean, that is so generic. That's like calling your team the Wildcats.
I hear Michael Washington screaming from here.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Wait a minute, I think he's.
I've seen so far in the Spring League have been really fun. There is a level of scrappiness and urgency that I haven't seen in a long time.
I haven't got to see Spring League football yet.
I got to see the first games last week, and oh my god, the players, they were going at it. There were times where, there was a little interaction after the play and stuff, but they know that at the end of the day, they're all on the same team, and, nothing really gets out of hand, but it's scrappy. I love it.
It sounds to me like the Spring League may be playing football like the old NFL used to back before we had all the
I wouldn't go that
rules.
far. I wouldn't go that far.
You don't think so?
No.
I haven't been able to watch any of the games yet because of what I do for a living.
NFL, even if you're talking early 2000s, there were still horse collar tackles, which were fine and stuff. If you want, I can't compare it to NFL era. I'll say
talking about those. I'm talking about the 70s and 80s, man, when football was football.
You can't suplex people in the Spring League. You can't use stickum. There's a lot of stuff from the set.
Men were men and boys were boys. Damn it. And I know the 80s were not good to the Pittsburgh Steelers, RJ. I realize that.
Yeah, and they weren't they were just heartbreaking for you too.
They heartbreaking, yes, because we had a great football team. We just had a few players that didn't make key plays, and I gotta say, the 70s for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were probably that decade, that's the greatest football team. One of the greatest versions of the Steelers to ever walk out on a field.
They're the most successful in the greatest version of the Steelers. And they had one of the most dominant decades of pro football history. The other one, and people forget this, was the Browns from from the 46 to 56 season, where they killed everybody in the AAFC and came into the NFL. And this is one of my favorite stories. So gather around the fireplace, children.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
It's the first game in the NFL. Burt Bell, who's the commissioner at the time, wants to make an example of Cleveland. So he puts them up against the defending champion Eagles, which happened to be the team he owned. But that was actually just a coincidence this time. It wasn't just pure nepotism. And everyone was expecting the Eagles to give the Browns a beatdown. And then the Browns completely flipped the script and just kill the Eagles. Because people had discredited the AAFC despite teams from emerging into the NFL, such as the Browns, the 49ers, which people often forget. They only hear merger to NFL. You think, oh, AAFC was there too.
They had a lot of that was an interesting era in football. Multiple competing leagues that actually came together to form the NFL. And it's sort of like right now what we got going on with the spring leagues. And we've got, we know that in 22 we're going to get an NAL season in 22. We know that.
We were in XFL back in 22.
And that is something that I am a huge fan of XFL football. It is so unique. I hope that they keep the spirit alive. And you know what I'm talking about. That spirit the XFL brought to the field, that the fans were just as important as the teams were in the league. And that's a big part of the XFL and why it was succeeding, because there is not a football fan out there that watched XFL on a regular that is not going to tell you it was heartbreaking when they went under, when McMahon folded the league. It was terribly heartbreaking for us.
It was hard to accept the fact that it happened.
It wasn't as bad. I mean, the AAF was one thing, but we knew that was coming because of the news that was rolling out. But we figured at least with McMahon's money, the XFL had a shot at least 2 seasons.
And then we just have plague, and it's like, oh, come on. Like this isn't fair.
Yeah, the plague, and that's what we'll call it. We're not going to call this COVID-19. It's the plague. The plague has hit. The plague on football, and it's still not giving up. What is it with this plague that's trying to kill football? Have we had that much coming out of baseball or basketball? No.
Well, football is the most contact-oriented Big Four sport. That might have something to do with it.
I don't know. I would venture to say hockey might be the most contact-oriented of the sports. There's a lot of physical contact in hockey.
Wall checking is heavily part of the game. It's not. There's not a baseline of how much is going to happen per game. On every play in football, minus kickoffs, you have at least 5 guys ramming headfirst into each other.
Oh,
and some bodily fluids get exchanged there every time.
That's nasty.
Listen, how am I supposed to describe it? You describe it in a nice fashion.
Okay.
Go ahead, try.
Okay, so outside of the world of football, RJ, I have a gripe right now with the entire world, and I need to get this off my chest. I got to air this. Please.
Oh boy. Salty Browns fan versus the world, live to you.
This ain't about the Browns. This is about people, and I have a problem with people. Let me look into the camera. So let me talk to you, to steal a line from Eli Drake. Let me talk to you here, folks. Today is the day. What is today? Today is the 5th of November.
Guy Fawkes Day.
Exactly in the year 2020. Probably the most terrible this has been the worst year in the last 100 years that I can think of. Maybe World War I, World War II top things, but this, as far as illnesses and pandemics and things, this is a horrible year, the worst in my lifetime. what I got to say right now. And I want you to come in and listen close. Listen close. Look. Christmas is December 25th. Quit putting up your damn decorations. Start celebrating the harvest season. Put scarecrows out in your yard. Get the pumpkins and Halloween stuff out of your damn yards. I don't want to see Santa Claus's fat ass until December because he's never done anything for me that was good. Never got me one damn thing I really wanted. As a matter of fact, I've seen a few movies where Santa goes on a killing rampage. If I'm telling you what's going to happen? Santa ain't coming this year. 2020 is the year of Krampus. I'm saying, come on, if Krampus was going to come out at any time, it would be 2020, wouldn't it?
Oh God, you watch Santa with muscles. Oh no.
No. So, have you ever seen, let's see, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? That's a stupid ass movie.
Oh, pardon me. I mean Santa's Sleigh. Pardon me. Where
Yes.
Bill Goldberg. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, Bill Goldberg plays Santa, which in itself is hilarious. That's also where he met his wife.
And there are multiple Christmas movies that involve death. Now, think about this. Do you not, RJ, if Krampus was coming, 2020's his year. The year of Krampus.
Honestly. Also, can we get Brian Zane and Adam Blumpy to do the one-liners that they didn't add in the darn film Santa's Sleigh?
Adam Blampier. Love that man. Great. He's awesome. He's funny as hell. I love Adam Blampier. He's very talented. For those who don't know, you can catch Adam Blampier over on Wrestle Talk TV on YouTube. He's part of the Wrestle Talk crew. He is one of the most entertaining human beings and also one of the most witty people that I've seen come down the pike in a long time. This guy could do stand-up and have a huge career at it. But he chose to align himself with professional wrestling, and so we have what we have. The man's smart as hell.
Also, I'm more a Brian Zane guy at Wrestling with Regret. Very funny. It's not quite as witty as Wrestle Talk. It's more analytical, but he has his own very dry sense of humor that's pretty funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
Both out.
But I love British humor anyway. But I'm dead serious. I am so sick of seeing holidays being celebrated months before they're due. Christmas is December. November here in the States, November should be a celebration of Thanksgiving. Whether you agree with the holiday or not, folks, it's a time for us to come together as a family and share in. This is what Thanksgiving really is, folks. It's when we come together and we share the bounty of the harvest. This is the last of the harvest is coming in. Let's get together. Let's enjoy some of that harvest. This is when we tend to go, and you see what I mean? We that's why we have these feasts on Thanksgiving. We celebrate family, friends. We celebrate the bounty that the summer gave, and brought. That's what this holiday is really, really about. It's not. We have our own Thanksgivings in our countries, and it might be historically related to something. But in honesty, this holiday goes back thousands of years to the pagan era, and it's a celebration of the harvest. It's a celebration of the fruits of the labors of those who work the fields that are bringing in the vegetables and the slaughter for the cattle that fed well on the grass and were slaughtered for meat. Or the pigs or the chickens or whatever animal it is, whatever flesh it is you put on your plate during these holidays. But please, let's stop. This is like premature celebrating for Christmas. It's driving me up a wall, I tell you. Spider-Man hasn't climbed as many walls as I'm climbing because of this stuff. I drive around.
You're still putting the drywall into your tiny house.
Yeah, well, thank God it's not there yet, or I've been climbing all over it. I am here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Things are going to be a lot different here at AFN Talk because I will be broadcasting from a new studio. It will be a lot different. And RJ, we have some very special holiday presents early
Yes,
holiday
we did.
gifts for everyone out there because over on our website at afntalk.com, starting the week of Thanksgiving, which football is a huge part of Thanksgiving week, isn't it, though?
It is.
We will be having a game of the week featuring the United States Football League, the USFL. We're going to be going back in time.
1980s.
We're going. That's right. Not just the 80s, the 83, 84, 85, the early 80s. We're going to go back. We're going to swing the clock back, and we're going to see what it would be like or what it was like. Because every week we're going to give you a USFL game in order as best we can. As best we can. Because the video for every game isn't out there. But as best we can, we're going to bring you USFL football.
Should be good for a while.
Pardon me?
We got 149 roughly full games there for y'all, so I think we should be good.
Yeah, we should have a couple of years content for you with no problems. So we're going to be bringing you an USFL game of the week. Once I get the studio set up, I plan on doing something a little different. I'm going to come to you from the production booth at least once a week. And I'm not going to be talking football. I'm going to be talking about all kinds of stupid stuff, crazy stuff, dumb stuff, things that bother me, like people putting out Christmas decorations prematurely. Why? Because I can. And I'm trying to talk RJ into doing something too. See, RJ used to have this column he does called Ciancio Speaks Sports. And I'm telling him about it right now too, folks. So it's new to him. But we're going to try to get RJ to give you 30 minutes or so of just his mind on whatever he feels like too. We're passing around an idea of a show called Passing the Pigskins. We'll talk more about that when and if we decide to launch that and get it off the ground. But it's going to be a little bit different than what we do now. A little bit more opinionated, and casual, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, look, the best way for us to make a connection with you out there is to let you understand what our lives are really like. I've been living through hell right now. I have cuts on my fingers. I smashed my thumb. I'm wiring a building today, and I jammed a piece of copper into my finger and bled. I mean, I am shedding blood for you listeners and you watchers out there in Facebook land.
Ric Flair would be proud.
Woo! Hell yeah! The Nature Boy is my favorite wrestler of all time. There ain't none better. But that's my opinion. And I'm also working with Nick Anthony over on Pro Wrestling 247. We're going to try to do some hybrid joint promotion of certain things because if you don't know, Nick and I do something called Pro Wrestling 247 where we discuss pro wrestling. And
I thought you talked about basketball.
Well, Nick is a baseball fan. But I'm trying to get him to just talk sports in general. You know, I like football. I like wrestling. He likes wrestling. He likes baseball. Why can't somehow we can come together and talk sports? You know, just talk sports because
and you, the viewers, can ridicule them endlessly in the comment section.
Exactly.
There's going to be tons of content to work with.
Oh yeah. Hey, I started it years ago. # I hate Nick Anthony.
It's his Twitter handle now.
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I hate Nick Anthony. And Nick is actually a good guy. He's just an idiot and don't know his. Look, he scratched his watch and wound his butt the other day. I'm telling you what. The man drives down the street bumping Kenny G and thinks he's getting hood cred. Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's damn true. Oh, Lord. RJ. How are things up there in your neck of the woods? I know your state was like the first one called during the election this year. That was kind of interesting.
It wasn't like it was like. I'll put it this way: it wasn't the first one called, but nobody was surprised when we heard the way we went.
Yeah, the way they went. Now,
Somebody did a really crappy autobiography about like death.
What, the way we went?
The way they went.
The way they went.
Death, writing down how everyone died in history.
You know, I worked for Atlas Van Lines for, Connecticut. You can drive through Connecticut in less than an hour. Did you know that, folks? Less than an hour. Delaware, even quicker. Delaware, 30 minutes.
The thing with Connecticut is if you're going through Danbury, you're going to be there for an hour because we didn't anticipate any through trucking. You have 2 lanes from Danbury up to Waterbury. If you don't know either of those cities, don't worry, very few people do.
Hey, Connecticut has a claim, man. They're the home of WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
Stanford.
Danbury Athletics, which had actually got into a great little exchange with John Oliver, which ended with him donating some money, us donating some custom jersey to him, and we also have named the sewage plant down there after him as the John Oliver Memorial Sewage Plant, which he completely endorsed.
Oh, and there's before we go, I got to say this. I got to get this off my chest. When you win a world championship, Dodgers, you don't need a WWE title. You have a trophy that makes that belt look like a kid's toy because that's really what it is. When you win an NFL championship, that is a beautiful, beautiful trophy.
It's Tiffany.
It's crystal. It's beautiful. And your name goes on a trophy that's standing in the rotunda of the Football Hall of Fame. If you've never been there, if you've never seen that trophy, then you're missing out on one of the greatest. If you're a football fan and you have not been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, I implore you, put that on your bucket list. That trophy alone, that trophy is one of the most beautiful. It's freaking 3 stories tall. It's huge. And then when you walk in the door and you see the busts and the plaques and the balls and the jerseys and the cleats of all the greats.
I'd probably pass out from just geeking out. Like
I did the first time I went, dude. I was sweating. I'm like, oh my God, that was Otto Graham's. Otto Graham wore that. Jim Brown wore that. Oh my, Terry Bradshaw wore that jersey. Oh my God, that's Terry Bradshaw's jersey, and he wore it at the Super Bowl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, it's if you are a football fan, go there because I tell you what, I'm in my 50s, and when I go there, I feel like a little kid again. I feel like I was the first time I went with my grandpa, and
I still
it's
get my butt
amazing.
over. I haven't been to Ohio yet, but like it's definitely on my bucket list.
You have to. I've never been to Cooperstown, but I think I should go there just to go to the Hall of Fame and see it.
I've been to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Where at?
It's in Springfield,
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
never been there. I've never been to that Hall of Fame. I've been to. Well, I would go to the WWE Hall of Fame, but it doesn't exist. It's just yeah.
Also, when you put Drew Carey in, does it really have validation?
Well, Donald Trump's in it.
So is Coco Beware.
Hey, get off of Frankie's back. It was the bird that made Coco's gimmick good. Oh hell!
Yeah,
Speaking of gimmicks, what team? Your predictions this week for Steelers?
I Pitts, Pittsburgh should win this game. Like I'm not saying he's going to because we are notorious for playing down to competition, but I imagine there's a level that we can't even play down to. And as much as I respect Garrett Gilbert, we have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Maybe Gilbert will come out and show you that your defense is lacking in certain aspects. Sometimes there is that unknown. You know what I mean? Gilbert is kind of an unknown in the pros.
He's an NFC team, and it's against a quarterback I really respect.
There you go. There you go.
And the Dolphins will be relevant for one day of the year.
And my prediction for the Cleveland Browns, even though they have a bye week, they will lose a game. I'm just sorry. They'll probably end up losing this week. I don't know what they'll lose at. Probably Tiddlywinks, maybe a game of Monopoly. But they're going to lose something.
Yeah, no, what will happen is, like, here's what will happen. So, like, OBJ gets mad, and then he flips the board over and throws the fake money everywhere.
Yeah, that's after they catch Mayfield cheating and stealing money from the bank. Oh, God.
Your kid actually placed his piece on Go, accidentally puts on income tax. He's that inaccurate, people.
Hey, that was low. That would go to jail and don't get out of jail free. Oh my goodness, That was low. On that low, that was lower than Brock Lesnar kicking someone between the legs to win the WWE World Title. Come on, that was low. On that note, folks, we're going to let you go this week. We'll be back next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully all this drama that's going on in the United States right now has at least come to a head, and Dr. Pimple Popper can take care of it for us, because we damn sure know. You don't know who Dr. Pimple Popper is? Look on YouTube.
I know who it is. I just don't know how how Dr. Popper's supposed to save us.
Somebody's got to get that nastiness out of there. Somebody has to. Let's hope to God that what the American people need happen, because we're looking like a joke around the world right now, and I'm tired of seeing it and hearing it. We got an orange-faced buffoon who thinks he knows better than we do. And I'll tell you what, he screwed up the USFL. He screwed up the United States. And he's screwing up an election. And he's pissing me off. And I'm getting tired of it. And by the way, folks, 2024, former South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy, put that man on the bill. I voted for him. You will too. Harry the Boobs Bob, RJ Ciancio. This is AFN Talk Live. We'll see you next Thursday night right here. Same bat time, same bat channel.